St. Juice is back in the building.
Are we?
Yeah, man, we're
Here we
back
go.
after me and Shane looked it up. A 4 month. 4 months.
February 19th, we did Jerkin with Jack York.
That was a good one, too.
That was a good one. We were giving away some good stuff there. We had Tyler Williams, and we were on a little roll there. John Cox. We had some, and then just got busy with spring and tournaments and the usual excuses. But
yeah, well, Shane, in his defense, he's been moving, and he's finally settled in now.
Yep.
And jobs rolling, everything's life's
Montgomery,
good, man. Everything's
Texas,
going.
Lake Conroe resident now.
That's right. So
Haven't even fished a derby on Conroe yet. I've been leaving the Tuesday night and Thursday night boys alone.
yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I'm coming though.
Yeah, I'll slide down there.
Yeah, Wyatt came and visited me for 4th of July, and that's what kind of inspired this. We've been talking about it here for the last month about getting on a podcast, record another episode, and just been trying to figure out what we want to do and who we want to get. And we've happened to run into this new Instagram account. I don't know how I say it's new. I don't know how old it is. Dual Threat Fishing.
Yeah, dual threat fishing. And when I've been seeing it advertised, I didn't really know what it was at first, and then I finally saw it for the payout. And because we're like those guys. It's like, call it whatever you want, but what's the entry fee? What's the payout? And let's talk numbers. And then honestly, I mean, call it whatever you want. Allow live scope. Don't allow it. Don't really care. Just what are we fishing for, and how much are we paying? Right?
We're always scouring the internet for tournaments fish.
Yeah, and y'all, if you followed this podcast for any time at all, we have mentioned on multiple episodes that we believe there should be a professional team circuit.
Yeah, it's been a thing.
And we're not talking about the MLF team deal that they do. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a full-scale national team trail that allows guys like ourselves, amateurs, to compete and pay a $5,000 entry fee and compete for real money. That's when I saw that, I was like, oh, that caught my eye. I got to hear more about this. So.
Yeah, it's funny. I ran across and I immediately saw that you were following. I was like, all right, so Wyatt's already seen this, so he's paying attention to hear what's going on. So naturally, we're curious. We want to learn more. I mean, I think to your point, Wyatt, we've had Brandon Belt on. He's the last kind of big, high stakes or higher stakes entry fee tournaments, better payout team tournament here in the state of Texas. And we teased him several times, like, man, you need to do a national trail and, go big, up the entry fee, 5, 10 G's, whatever, and really pay out some serious money. And so not surprised to see somebody come out with this.
Yeah. I think Brandon Belt was, I don't know, man, at least in the state, he really set the mark. He paid guys $100,000 for wins in his tournaments. He paid guys $50,000. We won a boat for Best Cat Team of the Year. We won a Cougar. He really this is bigger payouts, right? This is the biggest I've seen. I've also never seen a $5,000 entry fee per tournament. So I don't know, man. This is going to be interesting. I'm ready to dive into it. We got Ethan on. He is the owner of Dual Threat Fishing.
Yep. Let's go ahead and bring him on and dive in because I think this is going to be an interesting one. Mr. Ethan.
How you doing, guys?
Good, man. Appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
Well, give us a little background. Tell us kind of about you to start, where you're from and kind of what inspired you to start, or if you've always been involved in tournament fishing.
Well, I'm from Tennessee. Pretty big in the construction industry. I ran quite a bit of local stuff for years. Ran some pretty big boat stuff, local stuff, around Watts Bar and stuff like that.
Okay.
I came up with this idea actually in 2019. I was going to launch it in 2020, And then, we had the whole health thing that went on in 2020. Well, after that, I'm not trying to get political, but I wanted to set out I basically sit out the last election cycle, and pretty much when we got a different guy in, I figured right now is as good a time as any to give it a go.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, really.
So do you fish yourself, team tournaments and stuff like that?
Yeah, I did a lot up until probably about the last 3-4 years. I've been, like I said, I had this back burnered and working on it, and there's a lot of work goes into it. Like even coming up with payouts, man, it's a job just to try to get all this to go.
Oh yeah, for sure. So what was your kind of inspiration? What inspires you to kind of go big like this?
Well, I mean, pretty much everybody starts out fishing team stuff.
Yeah.
Like look around. I mean, I'm not fishing out in Texas all the time, but here where I'm from, man, the majority of the stuff is team oriented. High school fishing team oriented, college team oriented. Once you get done with that, your avenues are either you jump in, and you're basically out on your own. Like you're trying to qualify for this or that on your own, or you're basically fishing team stuff for little to no money. Mm-hmm. And that's basically where it came from. Like it's always made sense to me. It's better for like entertainment value. I mean, I just think it's better all the way around. I think it's the future of fishing, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. And I don't know if you could hear us when we were talking in the intro, but we've brought this up several times in our previous episodes with other tournament directors and just in general in the future of professional fishing. And we've always thought that. We've always thought like, you start out in team trails. There are more team tournament fishermen than there are individual fishermen, so it's definitely more relatable. Yeah. So guys can relate, and I feel like they can learn more because it's different. It's different when you're fishing as a team versus as an individual, especially even if you're fishing with a co-angler. It really changes the dynamic on how you approach your fishery and how you execute a game plan. So I think it's way more relatable. And Wyatt and I, we cut up when we're in the boat together. So, I mean, we think we're pretty funny. Most people probably think we're idiots, but
funny. And we've had some footage had to get cut up, to say the least, to use for certain team trails and bass champs and such. But yeah, man, I this is me, like Shane's already alluded to. We have talked about this multiple times, and like we said to open, we're tournament junkies. Like, this is very exciting to see. We will obviously dive more into this as the episode goes on, but I'm really interested. I know you're capping it at 100 teams, and at $5,000 at a $5,000 entry fee per team. I'm just wondering if you're worried about getting to that 100 mark. Are you still going to proceed if you don't get to that 100 mark, or what's your thoughts on that 100 team mark at $5,000 a team?
We will proceed if we don't get to it. Do I fear not getting to it? No, not really. Not with the amount of applications we've processed over the last 4 or 5 months. We've got over 600 applications to fish it now. And it's basically, you might go through 100 applications, or 50 applications, say, to get one team. You got to find the right fit. I don't want to bring in any young guys and get them in over their head, put them on contract, and then, I don't want to get somebody in over their head that can't afford to fish it, for one. I don't want nobody running on credit cards, But no, I don't foresee a problem filling it. I've had interest from every major, fishing league there is. So I mean, I don't see a problem with filling it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I guess that would be the next step to that question. Obviously, it's going to be open to all anglers, whether you're at an amateur level or the Bassmaster Elite Series, Bass Pro
Correct.
Tour, NPFL. It's wide open, right?
Yep, correct. Gotcha. And what I'm trying to do with that is I'm trying to get a mixture. I don't want to just bring in, a field of 100 teams of guys that are already at the top. I started this, to create opportunities for younger anglers or anglers that just, have just really team fished their entire lives. But, I will, my field is going to have what you would call quote unquote professional top of the level anglers in it. Yes. But I'm trying to get a mixture, like a 60-40, somewhere in that range. So
how do you, so I've seen, and I'm sure, and Shane's gonna have questions too, but
yep.
I've seen your schedule, right? Like you don't have
Right.
the dates, you don't have the exact locations, but you do have the
Yep.
states and the time of the year up. Are you?
Yep.
Is that something that you're going to wait to see what the Bassmaster Elite schedule is, the Bass Pro Tour schedule is, so those guys can fish? Because that's a huge confliction there if they can't.
Well, the reason for that, and from information I've recently gathered, I'm hoping I have on my website October, but I'm hoping I have my schedule out probably mid-August because the two leagues you mentioned, I'm waiting on their schedules to, once they release their schedules, I'm going to middle those schedules to the best of my ability.
Okay.
And
so you have the states in mind, but I'm just curious to Wyatt's point. Do you kind of have the lakes picked out as well, or you just
the lakes are set in stone. I'm just not going to put them out until I got the exact dates on them.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair enough. I want to circle back to you said a contract. Let's go over the whole process of how you get signed up for this tournament. Okay. So I've seen you had an application. I was telling you before we even got on that Wyatt and I personally kind of started filling out an application. I said, well, let me do a little more diving into this and see what we can learn. So there's an application process. You fill out your application. I guess we'll start there. Like, what is your criteria when you're looking at anglers? What are you looking for?
I'm looking at basically their past and present, what they fished, where they fish. Basically that's the gist of the application. And then from there it goes into, like, you'll get an email back, and then we'll set up a time, and then I basically do phone interviews and make sure everybody's on the same page, make sure they know what they're getting into. Basically just give them the rundown of what it is, and then go from there. But I mean, basically when people fill out an app, you pretty much know once you read the app if they know what's up or not.
Gotcha. Well, that's pretty interesting. You do phone interviews too. So then you also mentioned a contract. When you say contract, what's the contract entail?
Okay. Once you do the application, you do the phone interview, say everything goes well and you're chosen. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you're chosen, everybody's in agreement, you'll get a contract emailed out to you. And that contract is basically like if you were signing up for one of the other organizations, at the professional top of the top. Once you sign a contract, it'll have like a payment plan in it. The payment plan is spread out throughout the season. It's not all like up front or anything like that.
Yeah, deposits, whatnot.
It's basically a standard contract, grant of rights and stuff like that. It's nothing, it's nothing any different than anyone else is doing.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It's
a standard contract
and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the rules and everything like that. It's a standard contract.
Gotcha. I didn't know if you were asking guys to be committed for more than 1 year.
No, well, the thing on that, like year 2, everybody that fishes year 1 has the option on year 2 if they want it. Like when the season's over, you're going to have turnover. I mean, pretty much every league is going to have turnover. And I've got some stuff in the works too that's coming next year as well. I'm not really going to dive deep into it, but it's a feeder system. I have a feeder system coming next year as well.
Okay, I like that. I like trying to qualify.
Yeah, I think eventually you probably have to get to that anyway because
I have a feeder system. Yeah,
if this thing goes off well for you, then you're gonna want that because the demand's gonna be so high. You're not gonna want to do phone interviews.
Yep, exactly.
So, my next question is these questions are coming at you from, like I said, two guys that we fish for a lot of events, and these are questions that a lot of guys that everyone will have, as I'm sure you've probably gotten a lot of these already, but.
Right.
Going back to that schedule, try not to conflict with elites or BPT, whatever the case may be. Right. This is a this is not a jackpot tournament, right? So if they can't,
No, it's
if
not.
you can't make one, you can't make any, pretty much.
Well, here's the deal on that. Each team is allowed 2 absences. Okay, here's an example. Say you 2 guys sign up to fish it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Say something comes up, say, God forbid, one of you has a death in the family and you just can't make it. As long as your partner shows up and fishes it, you'll acquire all your points, everything as normal. Each team is allowed 2 of those per year. But at least one guy has to show up and fish.
Are you allowed an alternate?
No alternate fishes with him. He has to fish
alone. No alternate. You have to fish it alone.
I like that a lot as well, because you don't want somebody to go get some local alternate like I have seen people do
Bingo.
in our state.
Yeah, bingo. That happens everywhere, man.
I'm like, wait a minute, he's fishing with who? Who is that? Oh, he lives on the lake. That's convenient, So
exactly. That happens everywhere. So that already came into thought. That's why I did it. How I did
That's smart. I like that.
So no jackpotting. Got to fish all 6.
Wow.
Yep.
And they're $5,000 a piece. You're looking at $30,000 in entry fees.
Yep.
Top 20 go to the championship.
Yes, sir.
And that championship payout I saw was ridiculous. That is that's what you want. You really want to be there. I can tell you that from the payout structure that I've seen.
Let me jump into that a little bit. I get it from both ways. I see, leagues try to water it down and pay down, as far as they can, even as far as my regular season goes. I'm on par with anybody on money paid out, like actually above par than most. I'm around 90% payout, including the hardware and stuff that gets given out too. But my regular season events, I'm going to pay out 25 spots. So it's top 25. All right. And then the top 20 points will go on to that championship, it doesn't cost you anything to fish it. But I mean, I don't want to make it sound bad, but I don't want to reward mediocrity. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather keep it, I know it might sound top heavy, but that's just my stance on it,
Oh, we like top heavy.
No. Top 25 out of 100 is good. I think, that's 1 in 4, right? So, I mean, it's not as much. It's not as far as a lot of people are going to pay down, but still, I like it because of the entry fee and what you can win, right? Like, that's the point of paying that higher entry fee to fish for that kind of money, So,
well, I mean, really, 1 in 4 is actually quite a few teams, but the amount you're paying out, as far as the bulk of it being towards the top, that 100,000. I mean, I think that's the right way to do it. I would even, not telling you what to do here, just while it's on the subject. Shoot, I wouldn't even be mad at cutting it down and paying the top 15. To really make the payout even higher. To your point of really rewarding guys that earned it. But I get it too. It's a lot of money, and you need some travel expenses covered. So
yeah, I mean, I think our last place, like our 25th spot's like $7,000.
Yeah, I saw that.
We're paying out in the regular season. We're paying like it's $1,000 a day to big bass, and then once you hop into the championship, which it's cut down to 20 teams, I'm paying big bass. It's just one time. It's the overall big bass of that championship. It's like $5,000.
Yeah. All right. So let's go through a tournament itself. Let's break it down like this. The tournament's 3 days, correct?
Yes.
Is there a cut?
Yes, there will be a cut after day 2.
Okay.
And who's fishing on the final day?
Well, you put me on the spot there. I think we're cutting to 40 something.
Okay.
I would have to look.
I got you.
I think we cut to 40.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah, we cut to 40. I was right. 40.
40 teams. Okay.
Yep.
If you make the cut, you're not guaranteed a check, but you still got a chance to fight for one.
Yeah, I mean that's the gist of it, because once it'll even be hard to jump from 40 to the money, but it could happen. But I had to cut it at least to 40. I really probably could have cut it to 30, but I think 40 was a good number.
Yeah, no, that's a good cut. And then championship event, is that going to be a 3-day event, 4-day event?
3-day.
Okay.
Okay.
And so all teams fish, or
yep, all 20, but no, all 20 boats, all 3 days.
Okay.
And
no cut.
The top, if you make the championship, you're getting paid, right, for showing up to the championship.
Yeah, I think last place in my championship is around $13,000.
Yeah, that's I'm looking at your site here while we're talking. So
see, this is what I'm talking about. You want to make the championship.
Yeah,
like that championship is. Don't get me wrong, the regular season is awesome, but that championship is like, okay,
it's hard for me to memorize all of it. I'm glad y'all are looking at it because there's so much went into that. Like,
no, and I'm sure
like
it's
all your
probably
rules
changed
and everything, like
evolved, and it's I'm sure you've started with one, and you kind of end up somewhere else than where you started. So,
and it's no entry fee championship, correct?
Yes, correct.
No entry fee championship. Oh, that's pretty interesting.
That's pretty wild.
So what about these payouts? Let's go back to the question about if you don't get 100 teams, how's that going to affect the payouts?
It won't affect it at all. I have backing. It's not inside the industry. It's all within the construction industry.
Gotcha.
My payout's 100% guaranteed. I have no problems on year one. So
you're rolling. Year one,
like
we're going.
That is.
I don't foresee a problem filling it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to be a good deal, but yeah, I'm guaranteed on payout.
I'm going to fill out the application right now.
Golly, this is sounding better and better.
Casey, if you're watching this episode, I'm going to need some PTO there, brother.
Yeah, owner 6 cents. Man, that's incredible.
Basically, guys, I have not tapped anyone inside the industry. Like, the reason for that is the way I look at it is if I put out a good product and I have a good field, they will eventually come to me.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. That brings up kind of one topic I wanted to cover with you as far as sponsorship. So it sounds like you got you've got a pretty good start, a leg up from a lot of people. Because to be honest with you, we've seen a lot of tournaments come and go. We've seen a lot of tournaments, guys think they're going to come in and start a tournament and get rich off of it and get all the sponsor dollars, and they have high dreams. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It can be a successful venture running a tournament trail, and as you should be compensated for running a tournament. It's not easy. It's a lot of work.
Correct.
I'll never be one to say that tournament anglers or tournaments should pay back all their money. I get it. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of time. It should be a profitable business model. That being said, you see a lot of these tournaments pop up with, hopes and dreams of getting wealthy. And when the sponsors don't roll in, it just kind of fades away. And it sounds like you've kind of decided to do it the right way as far as going backwards and let me show you what I can do. And then I'll worry about, picking up industry sponsors, because industry sponsors are probably tough to get.
Well, especially because the non-endemics are the ones that are going to be the ones to give you money. Like, the industry sponsors are spread so thin between so many organizations. It's hard to get any kind of money to actually help your organization. Like, that's tough, and that's why I like the way you're doing it. And I think that's probably, it is the best way possible. I mean, it's the best case scenario for what you're trying to do. So,
in my opinion, I thought it was. That's the direction I went. So I'm pulling money from the industry I've been in my entire adult life. So, just easier. It's easier for me. I plan on, I'm going to start reaching out to, companies inside the industry as far as getting incentive programs.
Okay.
For the
anglers. That's where I was going with this.
That's really the only thing. I'm going to start looking for those probably later on this month.
Okay. No, that's kind of where I was headed with that is, there is value in reaching out now, and that's the contingency programs, right? As anglers, we all have companies. We either already have, partnerships and sponsorships that we work with now, and we're seeking those incentives, because the incentives for those that, tournament fish and really look at the dollars that you can win in a tournament, a lot of people overlook the incentives. The incentives are huge, right? You get Toyota bonus bucks, Yamaha Power Pay, those kinds of programs, your boat manufacturers, Garmin. they all offer these incentives to run their products, and you can really start cashing in, even if you don't win a tournament, on these incentive programs. So I would absolutely, but it sounds like you're on top of it. I'd encourage you to at least reach out. Hey, look, if you don't want to sponsor the trail right now, we'd at least like you to, what do they call that? When you
at least take care of your anglers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
you
have an application you fill out with these companies and say, hey, this is the tournament trail I want to run. We just want you to.
Yeah. And they will normally.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Skeeter, we run Skeeters. They have a big.
Yeah, their real money program is big. So.
Yeah, their real money max program is paid us some money over the years. So they.
I don't foresee a problem getting the contingency stuff. So
no, I don't think so either. But man, it sounds like he's answering all our questions. I mean, he's got everything figured out. Another question I did have is media. So at this kind of pay scale and this kind of entry fee, you're going to attract some guys that are sponsored and are doing it for a living. And that being said, when they make these decisions on what trails they do or don't want to fish, a lot of what weighs into their decision-making process is not just how much money they can win in the tournament, it's how much exposure can they give their sponsors by being on your trail. Do you have any plans as far as media coverage, or what are you going to do to offer a platform for these guys to promote their sponsors?
I have a media team coming in November, along with everything else. Our weigh-ins will be live streamed daily. We're in between. Our championship more than likely will be live. Like the championship will more than likely be live.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, at this moment in time, which it could change, we are debating on doing highlight videos, like say 15 to 18 minute daily highlight videos, once weigh-ins have concluded.
Okay.
And they would be streamed across all platforms, all your YouTube, everything.
Instagram, all the social media platforms.
Are you talking about from on the water action stuff?
Yes.
And do you get that through? Is every boat required to run a GoPro, or are you getting that through?
Every boat's required to run 2 GoPros.
Got you.
2 GoPros, plus we will have some on the water footage as well. That's not coming from GoPros. Yeah.
I like it, honestly. I would.
And to be honest with you, I mean, I don't want to spill all the tea right here on this, but my mindset on that, like I said, it could change. Like I may actually do a little bit of polling on it with my anglers. Mm-hmm. Once my anglers are all on contract and everything's buttoned up, because my point of view on it is there's not as many people watching 8 hours a day of fishing as we might like to think.
No, they're not.
This world has changed. It has went to highlight clips. Like it's a TikTok world we live in. Like it's an Instagram, a TikTok. So that's what brought me back. Like there'll be plenty of media for everybody.
Short attention spans. I get it. I mean, people
very short,
60-second clips.
Yes, they're very short attention spans.
We've talked about that on this podcast. At least I know I have brought it up to say, look, there's not a sporting event out there that I'm going to watch for 8 hours.
Exactly.
Not football, not baseball, not hockey, not anything. And
no, I'm a fourth quarter guy.
Yeah, I'll watch a football game, but that's not an 8-hour product.
Exactly.
And to be honest, fishing is not exactly the most entertaining thing to watch, period, live. I don't care if they've got their head buried in a screen or if they're flipping bushes. It's not the most I'm sorry, I'm a big bass fan. I'm a huge bass fan. Huge. But watching someone for 8 hours maybe get 7 to 10 bites a day is not, I don't care what they're doing. It's not entertaining.
Exactly.
But watching a highlight reel is entertaining because, then you're seeing what's actually taking place. I've always brought up the old Bassmaster videos that used to come out on YouTube or the sports channel or whatever after the event was well over. and they put together a whole show. Like those were the days of bass fishing that I grew up watching in the sport that I fell in love with on the professional level.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I'm in my mid-40s, and the organization you're talking about built themselves. They didn't build themselves on live coverage.
No.
I think it did better. The heyday was years ago as far as coverage goes.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So I kind of I'm leaning more toward that direction. And that's what everyone I have on contract so far, that's basically been the gist, of what I'm telling them is I'll probably live stream my weigh in, but I'm going to sit down. Like I said, I'm basically going to take a vote on it more than likely to see which direction I go. But in my opinion, you're better off to run highlight videos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those guys that's
like an old school TV show. You get, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be one of those guys that's like, dude, I don't care if all you do is post a picture from the freaking weigh-in, and I'll post a picture from the weigh-in, whatever, and just tell me what the entry fee and the payout is, and let's go. Like I don't really care about the media side of things. I know it's really good for your organization to get stuff out there, but
it's good for sponsors too.
It is, and I understand that, but from an angler standpoint, like just fishing the event, I think the more important thing I would be focused on outside of media would be the payout structure. What's the championship? All this and that. Really, in a way, as an angler on your sponsors, it's almost kind of your responsibility to bring them a product in whatever way, whether that's from your GoPro footage, whatever, and as you get maybe some sponsors for your organization, that's y'all's responsibility to do that as well. I'm just saying, I think the most important things, it sounds like you've got pretty figured out. I know there'll be bumps and bruises along the way. You're dealing with 100 teams, which means you're dealing with 200 people. That's a lot. I don't know what that looks like. I can only imagine. Hey, my team partner can't afford to go the rest of the year. Do I got to fish it alone? I can't have an alternate. Hey, my team partner died. Like, honestly, there is a lot that goes into that when you're dealing with 200 human beings.
Exactly.
So I don't know, man. I mean, that's all going to fall back on you. But I think from the sounds of it, structurally, it sounds pretty solid. So I don't know. It's very interesting. It's really, I mean, I was kind of back and forth on, like I know for us personally, like, man, $5,000 entry fee, is it kind of worth it? And then you start breaking down the numbers, and it's like, well, like Shane's fished a lot of opens, I fished a lot of Toyotas, even fished the invitationals, and that's an $1,800 entry fee. When you start breaking it up half and half, you're about right there.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. For fishing for a lot of money, I think
that's kind of the way I looked at it. Is if you break it down, it's $2,500 a piece. If you're splitting down the middle, basically, depending on what league you're chasing, you could be paying more per tournament. I mean, you could be paying more than my entry fee by yourself in certain situations. But splitting it down the middle, it helps with everything. It helps with the travel. You got somebody else to drive. If you get tired, you don't feel like it. You got somebody to help with lodging. I think it's a better deal. My opinion.
No. I 100% agree, and it's more enjoyable. Honestly, it's more enjoyable to be out there with your buddy, tournament wise. And you just saying that brought up a great point. I mean, are you allowing both guys to bring separate boats and practice? Or you got to practice out of one boat? Do you know how you're doing that yet?
No, you can bring two boats. You can have a backup boat. You can practice out separate boats. You just, yep. Nice. And then if something happens to boat A, you can use boat B. I have some guys already on contract that's going to travel with two boats. So
yeah, 100%. I think a lot of your guys
we would definitely be bringing two boats
because I mean it's hard to get service, man. I'm not going to have a service crew, not year one. So
I guess that brings me to the off limits question. I think I've already read this, but I believe it's 3 days of official. Or two days of official practice, an off day, and 3 days of the tournament. Is that correct?
Yes. It's let's say the off limits period is 10 days before the first day of practice, and then every tournament we'll roll in on. You'll practice Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday will be off the water for basically your boat draw and safety meeting, and then you'll fish Thursday, Friday, cut Friday evening, and then the top 40s fishing on Saturday.
Gotcha. What's your info rules look like before that 10-day period? Are you allowed to get info up to that 10-day cutoff, or what does it look like?
Yeah, no info after the 10-day. I mean, yeah.
So people can get info up to
the 10-day, yeah, because man, lakes change. I mean, I don't want people out here like, buying waypoints and stuff. There's limitations to it, but I mean, as far as like dock talk, man, like you just got to know how to police it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to fail somebody on a polygraph unless you absolutely have to.
Exactly. I mean, you have to know how to police. You have to use common sense.
Yeah, ours are pretty close to that back home. Usually the week of is the no info.
Yeah, it's not very long.
And we rarely have people fail polygraph. Now we have had people fail polygraphs. We have not had people fail polygraphs really much when it comes to that whole info thing. I know me and Shane have taken multiple, and it's never really, and I know it's a big issue with some organizations right now and stuff, and it's because they have very strict rules on that, and I get it. But yeah, I guess that was another thing I wanted to cover.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be. Well, I don't want to say it, but I'll just say I'm not gonna be as strict as some organizations have been recently.
Right.
Fair enough.
Like you got to use common sense. Like,
are you? But you will have polygraphs in place, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good deal.
Well, I don't know why I'm hung up on the GoPro thing. I think if I'm just being honest, 2 GoPros is I'm not gonna say it's a big ask. I get it. You're trying to get all angles of the boat, but if you put a GoPro in the back of the boat, you're gonna see. Which most of the time, Wyatt and I are gonna fish off the front together anyway.
Yeah.
I think at that level, most guys are gonna be fishing off the front together.
Do you mean a GoPro? Does it have to be at a certain angle off the front facing to you, or do you just have to have 2 in any way? Like, what do you?
Well, I mean, I don't have that set in stone. The way I ideally pictured it is 2 of them driver's side console mounted, one facing the front deck, one angled to the rear deck. That way you can monitor, your live well system pretty well and everything.
Okay.
Oh, I got you. I didn't think about that. Like if you're trying
that's
to
really not hard.
Yeah,
you can process.
Yeah, you can side mount them and have one facing the front deck and one angled facing the back deck.
So you can put 2 on the console just like we did, Shane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't have to be GoPro brand. I mean, they can be, as long as you, hardwire them in, they can run all day. Yeah.
Yeah, so we fished a tournament. It was a MLF style, every fish counts, weigh and release, and they gave you like a set of scales, and they made you run a GoPro, and the GoPro had to be in the back of the boat to where you could see the live wells and all that, and you had to show. You remember what you had to show the scale? Yep. Every fish you weighed, you had to show the scale to the camera, and it wasn't necessarily monitored live, but on the back end. I guess they were going back and reviewing all the footage, which is insane. Yeah, but they have timestamps so they can review. They can like fast forward through the footage. But it was like, geez. Right. But I can see that. That helps with the polygraph side of things.
Well, and back to the footage. Like for example, like when you get into the contract ordeal, like we can pull your footage at any time, but the majority of that will be like, say you're in the top 10, we might go and pull the top 10's footage and use it in video.
Yeah, you'd want it.
Yeah,
you'd want it to promote for promotion, and honestly, we've run a GoPro just for our own safety when it comes to polygraphs or whatever. Like, hey, if you got a question, here you go. Like, here's the entire day. You want to watch it? Here you go.
The majority of the GoPro pulling would be, basically for footage, like promotional footage, and making videos with it.
Yeah.
Man, this is freaking awesome.
I don't know how I'm going to get this much time off, dude.
Man, we need Sobzak to just be like, all right, Shane, here's 7 weeks.
I like that. That's confident. That right there, that sounds like making the top 20. That's confident.
Yeah, no, dude, that's
7 weeks.
No doubt.
So, I know you can't give away the lakes, even though I want to know.
I mean, you can. Just don't do it right now. We'll talk afterwards.
Yeah.
But are you going to schedule? Okay, first of all, I don't know how we haven't asked this question. I already know the answer to it. based on one of y'all's comments, but live scope is allowed.
Yes.
Are you limiting the number of transducers, or how are you doing that on electronics?
Nope. I'm not limiting the number of transducers. You can run crappie brakes. I'm pretty much not. If it's legal, you can run it.
Oh, nice. I
As long
like
as the
that.
state doesn't have a rule, go
Exactly.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And another thing that makes me a little bit unique to a lot of the bigger organizations is I don't have a 250 horsepower limit.
Oh, shoot.
My insurance doesn't have a problem with it. I had this discussion with them in January. Pretty much, if like
the boat's ready I'm
not gonna shout out no brands or anything, but say you got a boat and it's got a 400 on it, you can run it. As long as it's Coast Guard, as long as it's legal, as long as the boat's rated for it, you can run it.
You Tennessee river hands like to go fast. That's why.
Hey, man, there's some
lot
Jaguars
of
out there.
300s up here, man.
There's some Jaguars out there with some 500s. So
exactly, they can run it. They're rated for it.
Jerry's gonna be in this one.
Yeah, I like it.
The reason I did that is because looking back over the past, 5-6 years, there's some big heavy boats, man. You put a 250 on them, you're running 60. Yeah. Some of them guys could bump up to a 300.
Oh yeah, for sure. The radius are higher than that.
Yeah, and gain 3 or 4 mile an hour at least, or more. So
yeah,
that's just how I look at it. We do have a minimum horsepower rating. You have to be 150, and you have to at least be 18 feet long, which that's pretty much industry standard everywhere.
So going back to what my original schedule question was, I don't like you'll let out the locations and dates when you want, but are these going to be geared towards like trying to catch big bags? Or are you going to be geared towards grinders? Or are you going to be geared to trying to go to these places at the best time like the elites do? Or is it going to be like the opens where you go to the worst places at the worst times? Like, do you know? Or
I would say the first 3 events are going to be bed events.
Okay. I can see that.
Let's start throwing some guesses.
And then probably when you get to like April, they'll be postponed, kind of coming back out. May, the same thing, because we go like, a state further up north. Mm-hmm. But I think my scheduling is pretty good. I don't think you're going to have there's going to be some big bags caught.
It looks like, if I remember, and Shane, you can pull it up, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going January to Florida.
Yep. February, Louisiana, March,
Texas. Yep.
April, Alabama, and May, Tennessee, June, South Carolina. Championship
will not be released until like a month before.
I like that a lot.
Dang.
Yep.
I like that. Honestly, I like that.
I'm going to release the date, but I'm not going to release where we're going until 30 days before.
I like that.
Because 30 days gives you plenty enough time to get an Airbnb or a hotel or wherever.
Yeah, it's only 20 teams. It's not like
you can get your accommodations and like I've already talked to these people. So where I'm going, I'm not worried about that anyways. So
yeah,
it's only 20 boats. Like that ain't much.
Exactly. You can go to much smaller venues with 20 boats too, like smaller lakes.
Yeah, as far as states go, that's pretty freaking solid. I know for us being in East Texas, the only ones that would be super travel heavy would be
South Carolina.
Yeah, and Florida, and even. But see, that's really not bad, especially if you're centrally located. If you're Alabama or Tennessee guy, I mean, that's pretty solid.
I mean, coming from my home base, I think the longest trip I have is right under 12 hours to Texas.
Okay. That ain't bad. Shane said he's starting to do some math over there.
I am, dude. I'm just looking at the calendar here, just seeing what's going on. Oh, well, man, we're definitely excited about this. We're gonna keep a finger on the pulse on this one, and
I will. I hate to interrupt you. I will fill you in a little more on like the hardware side of things too.
Okay, now you're talking.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. What kind of trophies are you looking at?
Yeah, back to the payout side. How I said, I don't want to, kind of reward mediocrity or whatever. But my regular season events, I'm giving out large plaques, not cheap plaques, expensive plaques. At every one of my regular season events, each guy will get a plaque.
Okay.
Okay. when you win the points, whoever wins the points gets 20 grand, plus they'll get a trophy.
Okay.
A really nice trophy.
All
Your
right.
championship winners will get a really nice trophy, one apiece. You know, it'll be 2 trophies for the championship, plaques for first place at all the regular seasons. Just because the reason for that, I want my trophies to mean something. I don't want to just change the color and add something different on top and say this is your championship trophy.
I got you. That makes sense. Now, hard work. Hey, money comes and goes. Hardware lasts forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I keep my hardware posted up. Like, you gotta have that hardware, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Big hardware guys. Big hardware guys.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really cool. So, do you have a cutoff for when you can apply?
Right now, I'm looking at I'm going to have a cutoff probably sometime in October on taking applications. I have a cutoff like once people get into the contract stage, when they're signing contracts, like I talked about, I have a payment plan in that, and I have a deadline on that. As far as like when you pay in a deposit, there's a small deposit, but it's not due until like November 7th. And then, I'll go ahead and tell you what the payout plan is. I mean, it's $30,000 per team, so it'll be a $2,000 deposit by November 7th, and then each team has a remainder balance of $28,000, which is spread out every 6 weeks during the season. So every team will have 4 payments of $7,000 apiece left throughout the year.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I did that.
That's a lot different.
Kind of try to make it easier on people.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, that's not asking for a balance necessarily right before a tournament. So that way you
exactly.
could in theory pay someone house money.
Yeah, I mean, people know, and I mean, that's the minimum payment plan. Like, you can pay that way. I have guys on contract already that's like, we're just going to pay the whole thing in November. And I'm like, that's fine. Just the minimum thing, I'm guaranteed on payout, but nobody wants to go into it and have a lot of drop off. You don't want to go into the 100 teams and finish out with 78.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the reason with the phone interviews and stuff, because, it doesn't make you look good as an organization if you have major fall off throughout the year. So
no, but it happens.
It does happen. It does. But hopefully, with the payment style, maybe that will alleviate some of that. We'll see.
Nice. Why? You got anything else?
Sounds like you've got an answer for everything that I like. Sounds like you've thought about it a lot. It's kind of good, man, that you're taking a lot of time to do it and then just jump in. I feel like that's kind of how you set yourself up for failure a little bit when you just don't jump in with a solid plan. It sounds like you got a really good plan, really good base. Like I said, structurally sound.
I think a lot of people jump in, and a lot of your regional stuff. I mean, I'm not going to call out regional stuff, but a lot of like your regional stuff, they will jump in and they're banking on industry dollars. And the industry, that, trust me, they don't come beating down your door. That's why, like I said, I've had this in motion for 6 years. So I think it's going to be successful. Yeah, a lot of homework.
So sounds like you got it figured out. I'm excited to see where it goes. I mean, I don't know where we'll fall in this thing.
Shane's gonna have to get some time off, or I might just leave his ass in Texas.
Oh, dude.
It's a lot of time and a lot of money. You'd be surprised how much money you spend before you ever take the first dollar in or fish the first tournament.
Oh yeah, we've
when
you're
hit
the road. So
yeah, the weigh-in stages and everything aren't cheap.
No, yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah,
exactly. And plus, I'm building my own live release boat, so that's money too. When you're talking a tri-tune and throwing tanks on it, it ain't cheap.
No, it adds up for sure. But
100%.
Well, it sounds like you're in it for the long haul, and you're kind of going about it the right way and trying to build your name up and go from there. So see where it goes. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see where it goes, whether we fish it or not. I know White's gonna be begging me as soon as we get off the phone. So
I think it's gonna be a good deal, man. You need to talk him into
it. Yeah. Well, that'll work, dude. And if you've got something else, you can say it now, or that's all we got. I think we covered just about everything. So,
well, hopefully this thing goes off without a hitch, and this thing's blowing up, and we'll have you back on here to talk about all the successes of dual threat fishing.
The only thing I got to say, man, is at the end of the day, it's fishing.
No doubt.
It's fishing. It's a little bit bigger entry fee, but it's a big entry fee with a big stage, and it's just fishing, man. It's not complicated.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it a lot. Well, Ethan, man, we really appreciate your time and wish you all the success and hope things go well for you, whether we're there or not.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, have a good evening.
I appreciate you, bud.
See you. There it is, dual threat fishing. Go check them out. Very interesting. Something like we said in the beginning, dude. We've been talking about this. I don't know. How long have you heard me talk about this? High stakes team trail.
I don't know, man.
Professional level.
A while, and it sounds really good. God, I hope it's not one of the things that, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. I don't think that's this. I think he's taking a lot of time to prepare. I don't know that for a fact. I can't really say that on 100% confidence. I think it'll be challenging, like I've already stated in the video, in the show, that, look, man, you're dealing with 200 guys.
Yeah.
I think some of these guys, even though he's going to kind of, sort through guys and see who's the best fit. Like I said, you're dealing with 200 guys, so money, kind of trying to come up with money in the middle of the season, end of the season could get complicated. It always does. But I don't know, man. I really like it. And I have confidence. I have a little bit of confidence and high hopes for the schedule. So.
No, I think it's a good schedule. I mean, even though we don't know the lakes, I think timing and, regionality, where he's going and what time of year should be pretty good. But I don't know, man. I just know how hard it is. And people are always, especially guys like us and guys that are willing to pay $5,000 for an entry fee, most people like that are always a little bit apprehensive. Like, you're going to have to prove it to us before we participate. And it's not like, a snooty thing or anything like that. That's not how I mean it. But there's just been a lot more people come and fail at tournaments than have succeeded. So I think tournament things as a whole, we're always a little skeptical until the concept has been proven. So, but the guy answered all the questions. Ethan seems like he's given this a lot of thought, is on top of everything. And, he's got plans on how to scale this thing, and he's going about it.
I think the biggest deal is the non-endemic sponsors having his back and not worried about the industry guys. I think that's a big deal. I think that's probably the biggest deal.
No, he doesn't sound like he's trying to get rich off of, endemic sponsors, industry sponsors. Doesn't sound like that's his goal. So,
yeah, I just, man, I hope the best for him. I hope, God, I hope we're there. So, yeah.
I mean, whatever. We'll see.
Casey might. You don't know, man. It could be a big. We're filming. Filming.
No.
You can work on the road. I'll talk to Casey.
Yeah. Okay. Call Casey. Tell him to be gone for 7 weeks. See how that goes.
Oh man.
Well, pay cut.
Might be a pay raise if we bang on them.
Yeah. Well, all right, dude. I'm gonna jump off of here. I guess we'll post this in a day or two, and not even gonna say when we'll do the next one.
Just put it up this evening, man. That way,
probably a year from now.
Just put it up.
Just throw it up.
That'll work, man. We're going to St. Clair.
Oh yeah, smallmouth fishing.
And maybe we'll get one done up there. Who knows?
We should bring it. Do it from St. Clair.
Yeah, man.
I'll bring the laptop.
So that'll work, guys. Until next time.
All right. See you.